I think mentally it was just really hard for me. I kind of froze a little bit. I didn't know what to really do.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Type 1 Lifting Podcast, your CrossFit upgrade. I have a returning guest. He is an absolute savage when it comes to those Olympic weightlifting weights, those movements, the snatch and clean and jerk. Tudor Magda, what's going on, man?
Hey, thanks, Tom. Thanks for the intro, but I'm trying to be a little bit more than just an Olympic weightlifting specialist.
I know. But we'll talk about that later. But I remember in the first podcast that we talked about Dune.
Oh yeah,
because you were reading that book. So did you finish? Did you finish reading it?
I've actually read the first 3 books. Yep.
Okay.
And then I watched both movies. Have you watched the last one?
So I haven't seen the second one yet, but
Okay.
I wanted to get your thoughts on the second one because from what I've heard from a lot of people, that they're saying it's like one of the best movies ever.
I think that's a little bit of recency bias, a tiny bit. I would not put it as like one of the best movies ever, but I would put it as a very good adaptation for what the source material is. And it's not a typical hero's journey where like you got a character, he goes through a bunch of hardship and then he comes out triumphant. It's actually kind of flipped on its end to where you have a character and you can relate to him, and then he kind of turns it around to where it's something completely out of this world. So it's a little bit different in that sense. And if you read the books, you'll have a better understanding about it. But have you read the books at all?
I have not. I barely have time to read a 200-page book right now because of my kids and stuff. So
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I just have a bunch of free time because I don't know. I like to relax by reading. So
yeah, and you're at school right now. So I don't know if we talked about it last time, but what are you going to school for?
I'm going for mechanical engineering.
Okay.
And right now I'm taking it pretty slow. I'm not taking a lot of classes. Actually, this quarter I'm only taking 1 class.
Yep.
And so it's been going, a slow process. I actually took a year off from it completely, or 2 years off, actually 2 years. Wow. But I'm starting to get back into it, and that's actually kind of nice. It fits within my schedule and right now. But I don't know where I'll be at moving forward with it, but it's just kind of something on the side for now.
Yeah, and it's kind of making you feel like you don't have to think about CrossFit like at all times a day, pretty much.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, my dad likes to joke about it. He's like, you should probably think about something else besides CrossFit once in a while. But dude, I mean, I love the sport so much, and I feel like I want to do it all the time. But yeah, you're right. It's for now, for where I'm at. I think it's a good thing that I chose to get back into it for now, but we'll see, what happens moving forward.
Yeah. And so I kind of want to talk about last year. So you made it to semifinals last year, and unfortunately you didn't make it, which I was rooting for you. I wish you made it. So,
thanks,
so what do you, after you didn't make it into that, like what was going through your mind? What was your mindset like after? Like, was it like, hey, I need to improve on this, or I need to change this, or what was going through your mind through the whole time?
I think mentally it was just really hard for me. I kind of froze a little bit. I didn't know what to really do, and it took a little bit to kind of get back into it fully. But I think taking some time off, I hung out with friends. We even did like a construction project throughout the summer at one of my friend's house in Georgia.
Oh, you were in my neck of the woods. You should have called me.
Oh, really? Where are you? Are you in Georgia?
I live in Georgia. So I live in Gainesville. So that's
I didn't know that, dude.
That's north of Georgia.
That's north. Where is Fridge? What's it called? I forgot the town. Whatever. But yeah. I think I was in North Georgia too.
Okay.
So, yeah, that would have been really close. Sonorville. Do you know where that is?
Sonorville? No, it's called.
No, Gainesville is.
That's pretty far away.
I'm not sure. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I don't know.
Was it Snellville?
Sonorville. Sonorville. I think there's an A in there too, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, Snorville. So that's like 54 miles away from where I live. So it's like an hour and
Okay.
30 minutes. So yeah, anyways.
Yeah. Yeah. But like I said, I just tried to take some time away from it, do something with my hands. It was kind of a kind of a weird experience for me because I didn't know really what to do
Mhm.
after that. But yeah, I just uh, continued to do something, work on something, and that kind of put me through it.
Yeah. And so was it good to get that break from like not thinking about like the whole summer? Like you're saying, okay, this is like the games would be going on here. So like, but I'm like with my friends, like building stuff, kind of like
Mm.
taking my mind off it. Was that kind of like was that kind of what you were doing pretty much the whole summer?
Yeah, up to the games. So it was a nice break up to the games. When the games hit, I got a kind of a second wave of anger and kind of frustration a little bit, and watching people competing at the games. But yeah, eventually I got back into training after that, and progressed slowly towards where I'm at now.
Yeah. And so obviously did that light a really good fire under your butt, like having like people like from the game saying like I could definitely beat this guy, like, and do you think about these people like during the workouts and when you're training at
Mhm.
home?
Yeah, definitely. Mm, I've trained with some of the guys that were at the games last year, and I knew, if I was at a healthy mindset, that I could, beat those guys, or be close to those guys in a race. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And so one of the workouts I saw was the sprint, like the sprint snatch workout where I think we think you hit like 320 or something like that, like something
Mhm. Mhm.
crazy. So, and what was like my thing is like you saw everyone else's snatch numbers. So what was kind of your thought of, hitting that high of a number compared to everyone else?
I mean, to be honest, I was failing 275 in the warm-up area, so I don't really know what it is. I think what the way my body was kind of feeling during that whole weekend, for some reason the high twitch power output stuff felt more comfortable for me. So on the floor, I was able to just uh, perform, and what's the word, like, uh, just, yeah, basically perform on that sort of test. But then, on the other stuff, I was kind of lagging behind a little bit. But
Yeah.
um, I yeah, I just went out there, hit 275. I had missed it in the warm-up area, but I knew it was comfortable off the floor. Hit it as my opener, and then went 305 and then 325. And I just kind of stood it up, got under it, and stood it up. I just yanked and prayed, basically.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Just grip it and rip it. Just see what
Yeah,
you can get. So,
exactly. Yep.
yeah. So when you were there, was it like nerves that was kind of making you act like feel like a little off or whatnot? Like what did you think?
Dude, I think just mentally, I think I took a lot of stuff for granted in the lead up to it, and
Mhm.
I think that the idea that, I had made the games last year, the year before that, and I'm a games athlete now, quote unquote, was got made me a little bit just kind of resting on my laurels,
Yeah.
cliche, but
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So I think just my mindset and where I was at. I had a great team around me, from a local gym here in Tacoma, Washington, and they came and supported me, and like everyone around me was cheering for me and stuff. And I just, that weekend, mentally, I was like not in it. I was not myself because of my fault. Like, just what I had thought about in preparation and taking stuff for granted.
Yeah. Yeah. And so are you still with the same training group from last year?
Yeah, I'm still with the same main coach. His name's Ed, and he programmed last year, and he programmed this year as well. I also added in a new coach, two new coaches actually. Zach, who works on my strength and accessories, and then Rich, who's I've been working a lot with him on endurance and running, like a lot of my weakness stuff. So um, And then I also have a recovery and nutrition specialist. His name's Alex, and he helps me with that. So I
And
have a team
yeah,
around me too this year,
that's a
which
that's a big team too.
yeah, I'm super grateful for them. Like I know that a lot of the top guys in the sport have multiple guys around them kind of talking to each other.
Yeah.
And I think that's starting to become a little bit mainstay. You know, a lot of the individual athletes have these people around them, these pieces. And, you know, I'm super grateful to have it in the lead up to this year.
Yeah. And so you were talking about your endurance was kind of like lacking a little bit. And now you have a coach for this year.
Yeah.
So now is it, and now is like running for you, like
Mhm.
like you're like, okay, I could do this. I like this. Is it like,
Mhm.
is it more fun now than it was before?
Oh, I mean, 10 times. Yeah. I mean, we'll see how it translates on the competition floor. I mean, I'm sure it'll be a lot better, but in training so far, it's been great. And even in the opening quarters, some of there hasn't been any running or anything, but some of the longer domain stuff, it wasn't as, you know, threatening to me as it was in the past. Like I wouldn't get as jittery and as nervous for those, you know?
That's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Definitely. And, so do you typically, so the program that I follow on Misfit, so they like every like Thursday and Sunday, they kind of do like it's called like a Maffetone. It's like zone 2 training.
Mm,
So where you get on a bike for like 45 minutes to like 90 minutes at like, 150 minus your age, which would
mm.
be like, 2 beats per minute for me because I'm so damn old. But like, is that something what you do to kind of like on your off days or help out with your endurance?
Yeah. Yeah. I've incorporated a lot of zone two starting ever since September of last year. We did a lot of the zone two block stuff leading up to Rogue, and then at the beginning of this year, and then progressed it to a more of a higher pace, higher intensity to now.
Yeah, and so are you really like pushing it right now since it's come up to semifinals, like
Yeah,
pretty much like lying on the floor every day, just kind of like dying a little bit.
I mean, yeah, definitely the intensity's gone up. I mean, it's been a test for sure, like mental and physical, much more so than last year, just with the type of training that I've been doing. So, you know, testing myself now mentally. Some days I'm like, oh shoot, I'm slow, and you know, I'm not as confident in myself. But I think that overall it'll pay off in the end, even though some days I feel like crap. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you have anybody to like other than your coaches? Is there like obviously probably your parents, but like are there other people that you're able to talk to and kind of like, you know, talk to them about your concerns like, hey, I didn't feel great today, like, and like kind of like not take you off the ledge, but kind of like talk to you and say like, hey, everything's gonna be okay.
I would say, like you said, my parents, my coaches, they fill that role for me. Um, as far as like peers, you know, same age. Uh, I don't have that many like training partners or you know people I talk to that much on a daily basis. There are some members at the gym that are really good friends of mine that are coming to support in California too. But yeah, I don't know if exactly that the role you're talking about, but I do have that if that's what you're asking. Yeah.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I mean, it could be anybody, like your coaches and your parents. So, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, I think the main group of people is going to be your parents anyway,
Hmm. Hmm.
because you're
Yeah.
with them like all the time. Not with them all the time, but like they're the closest people to you. So
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Yep.
awesome. And so you were talking about going to California. So this year's semifinals is at Carson.
Hmm.
So how excited are you for going to the tennis stadium?
Dude, I've been watching the game since 2014, so yeah, I'm very familiar with that arena, that whole vibe, at least for what they showed on camera. But yeah, I'm to be there in person is going to be pretty surreal.
Dude, I would love to be like an athlete just walking out, just like you get like, you get your name announced and you just run to your lane
Mm-hmm.
and like you just see the tennis stadium. And I guarantee you that place is gonna be like sold out too.
Mm-hmm.
So and just
I
like
hope so. Yeah.
yeah, well, I mean it should be. So I mean that's the old tennis stadium, but and like see all the fans around you out in the California sun and just like
Mm-hmm.
slinging some weights and like getting on the bike and stuff like that. Yeah, and just seeing old CrossFit movements too, which is awesome.
Dude, yeah, it's gonna be so cool. I'm curious to see if there's any like change in the venue, if they updated anything since they had the games back in 2016 was the last year. But yeah, like I said, I memorized all the games, events, all the people competing there because I watched like ever since, I've been like 9 years old starting at CrossFit.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what's the game plan of you heading are you going to be there like a couple weeks in advance, or like I know you're going to head down, but
No,
like no, just that week?
yeah, that week I'll be there that week, and it's pretty sunny here in Washington, so I've been getting some good heat on me during training, doing some of the work outside. Hopefully that translates, but yeah, for now it's going to be that same week for me.
Yeah. Yeah. You need to hit that Georgia weather, get that humidity, or
Is it going to be humid? Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully the weather plays in my favor, but we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing the semifinals back in Carson, which is pretty
Yeah,
cool. And just seeing like how they, I mean, obviously the workouts are already out already. So,
yeah,
at
exactly.
least how they set them up and stuff like that. So you saw the workouts, you saw the league. And so what did you think about the workouts for semifinals?
Oh, I think they're amazing. I if even last year's events, even if they had those, I think I'm way more confident with those as well. But this year, if they had this year's events last year, I think I would have been happier, if that makes any sense, with
Yeah.
where my fitness level was at last year. So overall, I think it plays to my strengths really well.
Okay. All right,
Yeah.
cool. And I forgot to ask you. So in the quarterfinals, you smashed workout two. And
Mm,
so, man,
workout too.
what
I don't
was it?
think I smashed that.
No, wasn't it well, I thought you did. So the
Oh,
deadlift,
you're
the
talking about the
rower.
open. You're talking about
Yeah,
the
yeah,
open.
the open. That's what I meant. I'm
Yeah, yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
the open. So, so so that workout, you did the opening, you hit like some ungodly number of
Yeah.
reps,
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah.
um, and then all of a sudden you got dinged for it.
Yeah.
So what happened to that?
Oh man, it was funny. I think going into that workout, with where my capacity was at, I knew that like each round could take around what like so two, I don't know, enough to get 11 rounds, 10 or 11 rounds. And for some reason in the back of my head, I just was like, hey, I want to get 1,000 reps. I want to break 1,000, like be the guy in the world to break 1,000. And so um might have done a little bit some low some muted hip deadlifts because I was trying to go super fast, but I think that weight was super light for me, and I just I wasn't thinking straight, and I was just cranking on it and then cranking some dubs and then going hard on the rower. And I looked at the video afterward and I had a feeling like, yeah, this looks kind of bad. It looked kind of similar to Josh Bridges'
Yep, I remember that.
video
Yeah,
back in 2017. And I was like, are they gonna ding us? Are they gonna ding me? What are they gonna do? And yeah, they ended up dinging me pretty bad. So
yeah,
I knew, like, I know that I'm my harshest critic, so I knew that those reps were pretty bad. And but it being the open, I wasn't gonna like try and redo the whole thing, and I knew even with a major penalty I would make it forward. So I think I had the capacity for 950 plus reps, but I didn't do it right. So I think that penalty was completely justified.
yeah. Well, I agree too. So I mean, if
Yeah,
you have like a muted hip or whatever
yeah,
in the
yeah. It's
deadlift,
not good.
but the thing with Josh Bridges, I think he had a fisheye lens on his GoPro.
No. I think you're talking about. I think you're thinking of Brooke Wells or somebody else.
No,
But
because if you look at his old video, it's rounded on the corners. So I think he does. I think he did put a fisheye lens on it by accident. So
oh,
anyway,
I
but
don't know.
yeah, it was yeah. I remember I remember that workout, but with him. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, for me on that, I think I got like a little bit over 8 rounds, close to 9 rounds,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like I felt pretty good about that, but I'm like I could have probably pushed it a little bit harder.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and that's like, I was like, I always second guess myself every
Mm-hmm.
time when I do these workouts. I'm like, I could have done better. And
Yeah,
then
same here.
yeah. And then I'm the jackass and I'm like, oh, maybe I should try it again. And I'm like, uh, I mean, like they're taking the top 25 now. So do I need to really worry about it?
Yeah. You know, to be honest, I maybe should have been a little bit smarter with it, because had I done a little bit of a well, had I kept that original score and done it correctly, I would have been in the top 5 in the open and got some prize money. But what ifs, like, it's just excuses, like nobody cares. But yeah, I I probably could have, it probably would have mattered a little bit more for me. But that's not the goal of the season at all. So just to make the game. So yeah, it is what it is. And to be honest, I think that I had a blessing in disguise. I think God was on my side for that one, because had I done that with the box step ups, the same thing, muted hip, I would probably not be here talking to you.
Well, no, you probably would have, but yeah, like that was one of the other topics. So
Yeah.
like, so when you saw that workout, did you read the whole thing and see like your neck has like your head has to be like in a neutral position or and stuff like
Yeah.
that? So how
Yeah. I read it. Yeah.
how did everyone how did like all these people miss it?
Same reason why I missed the deadlifts. To be honest, I think it's just a light enough weight to where people can just hop on the box, tap their foot, go back down. They're trying to rack up reps, because that in the row is where you get the most amount of reps. And if you slack off on those, you're gonna fall behind your competition. And so, I don't blame those guys. And I completely could have been one of those people. Like,
Yeah.
if like I also made sure to extend my hips fully. I probably went a little bit too slow in that workout for those reps, because I knew that had I get another penalty like I did in the open, it's gonna be a major detriment to my
Yeah.
placement. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
yeah.
yeah, that was definitely good that you actually slowed down a little bit.
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
because
I'm super glad.
because I can imagine like all these people just like trying to haul ass and just like
Mhm.
don't even and probably some of these people didn't even read the full description too,
Well, I mean,
which is
there's
another
no
thing.
excuse for that. I feel
True.
like you should read the description. But um, I'm also a big proponent. Like, if you should watch your own videos. You should watch it and slow them down, and like look for any sort of minor nitpicks. Like, to be honest, I can find a minor nitpick in every workout that I do, like on a daily basis in training. Like, and then I know to, hey, don't watch out, don't do that in the future. Like, don't on when you're doing handstand push-ups, don't take your feet off the wall before you block out your last rep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
uh so just little stuff like that can ding you if you try and go too fast.
Yeah. And so with the rule book and stuff like that, they change it like pretty much like every year. So do
Mm.
you think CrossFit should kind of change the rule book when it comes to movement standards like every year, or do you think it's okay for
um
them to kind of like mix and like just like finagle it here and there?
I don't know, I'll have to think more about that one. I'm not really sure. I think there's an opportunity to change a little bit of how they do the penalty, um but like in a way to where, let's say you do a certain percentage of the rep, which would be very hard to judge it for an online person to see. But like, one no rep is worse than another no rep. Like, there's worse no reps than other no reps. You know what I'm saying? Like, if let's say you have a muted hip and your knees
Or
bent at
bent?
the
Yeah.
top of the step up, versus if you just have a muted hip and your knees completely straight, the energy that it takes to do the second rep is going to be more than that first no rep. So, like, different types of no reps, if that makes any sense, can affect different people's energy during a workout, uh, which is, it would be very hard to judge and implement. But uh, yeah, they it's really hard. So I think all athletes should just err on the side of complete caution. Just make sure every rep is completely safe.
Yeah. So when you set up to do the recordings, do you set up like two cameras or like what's your typical setup?
I forgot to set up two cameras doing quarters, but I was lucky. I had nothing happened. And so yeah, I set up one camera and did a WeTime app. You know what that is? Like, where they have a timer in the corner.
Yep, yep.
That was helpful, because then I didn't have to have the timer in the picture. And yeah, just pray that nothing goes wrong. But yeah, doing 2 cameras would be nice. I think that I'll do that in the future.
Yeah, with your prize money, you're gonna just have to buy another camera just for that. So,
Yeah, exactly.
so I was looking at the amount of people that are going into the games from semis in
Mhm.
each division. So it looks like the West Coast actually lost a number, lost like and lost a placement and moved it over to Australia. So
I think they didn't. I think you're thinking of Europe
it might have been.
because West Coast had 9 last year, which they have the
Okay.
same number this year. I think Europe had 11, and now they have 10, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
They moved it to South America and to Oceania, uh, which was interesting. But I guess doing it with the semifinal registrants is different than what they had last year.
Yeah. So do you think that the East and West should be like the same amount of athletes, like 10 and 10?
No,
No.
I think um, yeah, no. There's if uh, a certain side of the country has more top tier athletes, based on past games. Like obviously, if we go to the games this year and a bunch of guys from West do better than the East, then it's a different story. But based on the past 2 years, yeah, I think East should get more spots.
Yeah. So do you think some of the well, I'm not saying like this, like, so do you think some of the people from the East should move over to the West Coast because it's kind of like, it's almost like a weaker field compared to the East Coast because you have like all these elite athletes, or with it, would you see a
I
lot of
guess
people
I
do
don't
that?
care.
They
I
don't
don't
care.
care.
Yeah.
Whatever, whoever's in the competition, I'll compete against them at the best of my ability. I don't really care if they move in or give more spots or whatever. I think it shouldn't really matter if you're trying to make the games. I think you want to, for me at least. I don't know about those guys if they want a better field or whatever from the East, if they want a better chance. But for me, I can't really have that mindset.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, what out of all the workouts that are for semifinals, which one do you think is kind of like, well, I don't know if you want to say this, but which one do you think is kind of like in your wheelhouse and kind of like almost like a home run, but it's like, you could definitely do some damage with the field?
Oh, I mean, I'm still good at snatching and I'm still good at handstand walk, even if I worked on my endurance. So, uh, you know, we'll see how the chips play out. But like I said, yeah.
Okay. All right. All right, cool. And so, with if you do make it past semifinals and make it to the games, so
Mm.
what does training look like for you after that?
Uh,
Just ramp it up or just take
yeah.
like a week off or something?
I don't know, man. I got to talk to my coaches. But yeah, probably something like that. I think it'd be smart to take a little bit of time off and then start to ramp up, uh, very seriously for the games.
Very cool. Awesome. Yeah. And so, we see like a lot of training camps, like big training camps coming around, like that are
Mhm.
like obviously like Misfit, HWPO, Brute, and all those guys. And so, what was kind of like the deciding factor for you? Just staying with, not going to one of those camps and kind of going with somebody else.
Um, I thought about it just for a small amount of time, but I just think that for me as a person, I like to train on my own and have, one-on-ones with my coaches and be able to talk freely, have a conversation about where I'm at, where I want to be. Um, and not that you can't have that in a training camp, but I think there's more factors in play with managing a community environment and managing a bunch of athletes, like what workouts you do, what whose weaknesses you work at what time. And there's probably a lot of benefits with being in a training camp, like a constant push from your competitors and training partners. But for where I'm at right now, I think that I want to work. I like to have blinders on, work on my weaknesses. I know what my weaknesses are, like clear cut. So I'm just gonna do whatever needs to be done on that front, but not worry about anybody else.
Yeah. So has anybody invited you to their camp to for you to train with them at all, or no?
Um, I don't know if you'd call it a camp, but my friend James Sprague, he invited me. And if we both qualify, I think that'd be a sweet to do before the games.
And
But
is
he's not in a camp either. He's just on his own. I guess you could call it a camp because he's training with Cole Sager a little bit. But yeah, he has like a thing going down there in Spokane, Washington, to the east side of Washington. Yeah.
So once in a while you get a phone call like, hey, you want to train this weekend, or what's the deal?
Yeah, he wants me to drive 5 hours to go train with him, and I'm like, dude, it's a quick turnaround for semis, but yeah, I see where he's coming from though. I think we'd get a good push from each other.
God, 5 hours on the car ride back and forth just for like a weekend trip. No.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I would not do that.
I mean, for the games, it might be a little bit different because I might be able to have more time, go there earlier, come back. Maybe he comes and travels here for a week, and then we can figure it out from there.
Yeah. And so speaking of the games, so it's down in Texas now, and so it's mainly going to be indoors, and I think there's going to be one workout outside. So what would you like it to be more outside or to keep it inside?
Yeah, I'd like it to be more outside. I think it's more fun, but I haven't really competed that much in 100-degree heat.
It's stupid hot.
So maybe I would have a different answer for you if that was the case and I had done a bunch of competition in that. But I did do a ruck run in Vegas when it was like 95.
How did that go?
In the West Coast Classic.
Yep. Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
It went better than I expected. I started out pretty steady and then chipped away, picked some people off, and it was a nice event. It was probably my most proud event of that weekend, semifinals in 2021. I think I was most proud of that, and I think that sort of approach will be nice to do in this coming semifinals in event 1. I think that'd be sweet to kind of pick some people off.
Yeah, I've always loved picking people off. It's just it's funny. Like you think you're just like, you see them so close. You're like, okay, I can pick this person off. And then like, it's almost like the next, and just see them, just see their faces, not even see their faces. Just like they feel you just like running by, like you running by them. And it's just like, shit, it's so demoralizing sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. And it gives you a little bit of a boost, like a moral boost, because you're like passing someone and they're your direct competitor, and you're like, okay, I'm not as tired as this guy. I have more energy. Yeah, I mean, that's how you want it to go all the time.
Yeah, and especially like, after the end of the workout, you're like, I've trained so hard for this and I deserve it.
Dude, I would love to have that feeling, man. If I could head in there event 1 and pick people off and have a good finish for me, like that would be amazing, man. I'd love that so much.
Now, do they have the lanes all set up for you guys already? Like, do you know like everything going on down in Carson?
I don't know what I know that I'm in the final heat.
Okay.
So I think that'll be cool to start out on the final heat.
Yeah, that'd be so dope. Just seeing all, like I said, like before in Carson, just seeing all those people, and you're like the last heat, and you're like just sending it the whole time.
Yeah. So start in the final heat, stay in the final heat the whole week.
Yep.
That'd be perfect. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So how far of a drive? Obviously, you got to fly down there. So how long does that take to get down there?
Oh, not that long. It's a couple hours.
Okay.
It's just on the Pacific coast.
Yeah. So
same time zone. It's all nice.
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine going from like, Iowa all the way to, California or something like that, and being like, just like the whole time differences will just jack you up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So since we're talking about CrossFit, so I know you do a lot of reading, you do other stuff. So what are some of the things that kind of like, relax you and not think about CrossFit during the day? Because I know CrossFit can be, take over people's like thoughts all the time. So like during a typical day, what do you typically do to like kind of zone out of CrossFit?
I mean, the classes, I guess, help with that. Doing classwork. Right now, I have a math class that I'm doing, and it's my final math class of the engineering degree, so it's the hardest one. But I'm getting through it slowly but surely. And that, I guess, even though sometimes it is a little bit, it's not as relaxing as I would hope, because it's just you have to actually focus and learn the material. But as far as like a relaxing thing, I don't know. I guess I watch TV sometimes, read, and go for walks, do stuff like that.
Yeah. Do you meditate or anything like that?
I probably should, to be honest, meditate more. I don't know. I pray. I guess I meditate a little bit. With my family and that sort of stuff. But I don't really like Zen meditate, if that's what you're referring to.
No, I get you. Yeah, yeah. You don't listen to like a YouTube video of just like meditate, like a half-hour meditation.
I've done that before too. Like what's it called? The waves,
oh yeah.
A waves, or shoot, what are they called? Like the brain. There's a certain frequency that your brain likes, I guess.
Yeah.
I listen to that sometimes, I guess.
Yeah, it's funny because I sleep in a different bedroom with my wife because I snore so bad, and so it's real.
Dude,
it's really bad,
tape, bro. You should wear mouth tape.
Dude, I had 2 deviated septums, and I got them surgically. My dad
got the same thing.
Yeah, I got them surgically fixed, and I still have sleep apnea. Like they want me to get this thing called an Inspire, which is like you'll see like a huge square, like a decent sized square on my chest, and the electrical wire circles around your nerve that causes you to snore, and so you literally have like a remote control, and you click on the square, and the electricity thing just fires up, so it actually shocks your nerves so you don't snore.
I've never heard of that before. Wow, that's kind of crazy. Have you heard of a CPAP machine though?
Yeah, I've tried those, and it just it's just like the thing on my face. I tried it on my nose one time, and I gotta constantly keep my mouth closed, and I didn't have mouth tape at the time, so every time I opened my mouth, there's like air just started just like going out.
What about like the temperature of the room? Have you played with that?
No, I haven't even done that either. But it's just
and also what you eat before too, like the timing of your dinner, that might change things a little bit too.
Yeah,
I've heard.
I usually eat at like 7 o'clock. So 7 to 7:30, and that's it. And then I go to bed at 10.
A good book for you would be Breath by James Nestor. You have that?
No, you gotta text it to me. Like I gotta remember that. So
I'll text it to you, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, like I always see my wife, like if she doesn't sleep, I could see on her YouTube channel, because somehow it's connected to my phone. You could see like her like half-hour meditation sessions so she can go back to sleep.
Oh yeah, that I don't really play with that, because like I feel like if I have to go on my phone and put stuff in, I think it's too late at that point. I lost another hour and a half of sleep. But I guess if that helps, I like to read before bed. I just have like a soft or a low, like less bright night light, and I just read a book and then turn it off.
Yeah. Do you use those blue light glasses at all?
I think I have a pair, but I haven't used them in a while. I probably should with school and everything.
Yeah, because you're on the computer all the time, and just like I always, when I was
not
recruiting,
all the time, but yeah, when I am on the computer, yeah.
Yeah, when I was recruiting, I literally had like 2 monitors like I have right now, and I always would have like those blue blocker glasses on, because like it was just getting like really bad.
What recruiting were you doing?
So I was doing medical recruiting. So I would like recruit for like nurses, medical assistants, like front desk receptionists, like any like phlebotomists, like anybody in the medical field except for physicians. If like some company would call our group and say, hey, we're looking for X amount of people for this, like can you help us fill them? So we'll go on like Indeed or any other position, any other like resume platform, and call people, like cold call, like
nice.
Like they see my number, they'll like, and especially I'm in Georgia and I have a Massachusetts number because that's from originally from, and they're like, what is this Massachusetts number? They think I'm a spam caller, and so they just get pissed off and they automatically say on the phone like, who's this? And so just stuff like that. But then I would talk to them and tell them about the role. and
Mhm.
then get their information, see their like, experience, what they've done, why
And
don't
so
they,
you
why,
were in a certain hospital doing this?
no. So
Or
I was working for a staffing agency. So we would work with multiple hospitals at the
okay.
same time and fill those roles. And so,
Oh,
yeah, so like we would just send them over with their resume and say, yeah, we'd like to interview them. And we set them up. And, if they get hired, they get hired and they're on contract or they're direct hire. So stuff
mhm.
like that.
How are you? Did you try and get out of the medical field for a reason? Like, is that
No, no, it was so what happened. I've been in the medical field for like, I think it was like 16 years.
mm.
So I've been in the hospital working in the emergency room as well as a Air Force medical technician
Oh,
for like 7 years in the 7 years in the Air Force. And then,
oh, thank you for service. That's
oh,
awesome.
don't worry about it, man. Don't worry about it. And then like 12 years of working in the emergency room. So I was working, actually, I was working in Boston at the time when the Boston Marathon bombing hit.
Mhm,
And so I was like taking care of all the patients that came in there.
mhm,
And then when I moved to Georgia, I worked at a children's hospital in Atlanta, and it was like one of the busiest emergency rooms for kids.
mhm,
And so you would see crazy, crazy stuff. Like the
mhm.
stuff I've seen is insane. And it got to the point where I was working every other weekend. And so my wife we had two kids at the time. My wife's like, okay, you can't do this anymore because I'm literally having the kids from Friday all the way till like Monday
Mhm,
by myself, and you can't help me out. So
mhm,
she's like, I'm like, okay, so I needed to do something else, and so that's when I got into recruiting and kind of went from there.
mhm. Yeah, wow, that sorry, puts things in perspective. Like, man, there's a lot of tough stuff out there,
Yeah,
and doing fitness for fun is not that bad.
no, it's not.
Yeah.
No, and like it's the worst things I've seen are like abuse cases, pretty much.
Mhm,
So mainly with kids, it's
yeah.
like it gets me so pissed off. Like I want to like just beat the shit out, pardon my French, beat the shit out of these parents
Mhm,
for just being scumbags or like just being so stupid they don't know what they're doing. And
mhm.
then I would see like kids getting into car accidents and they don't have seatbelts on because the car that they have, they don't have enough seatbelts for the kids.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, and stuff like that. It was yeah, just this, it sometimes it gets to you a little bit, but it's just like you got to think of it as like, you're doing this for a reason. You're
Mhm.
trying to help as many people as you can, and
Yeah,
sometimes you can't help people out.
yeah, yeah, man. That's super tough. I mean, there's a bunch of those cases out there, and it's a lot of stuff that people don't see and they don't know about, so they don't really pay attention to it. They don't. It's not in the forefront of their minds. But
Yeah.
man, that's crazy. That's a story. Like going from that to the recruiting and now podcast.
Yeah, well, the reason why I left recruiting was because my daughter had to go to like occupational therapy and speech therapy. And
Mhm,
so it was just too much for me to like recruit and go there at the same time. And so I pretty much was like, okay, like you know, I'll I'll just help out around the house, be like the, stay-at-home dad pretty much
mhm.
just to take care of
Respect.
her and stuff like
Like,
that. And
yeah.
so now I'm looking for another job again. So we'll see what happens.
Okay. Nice. Nice.
Yeah. So it's all fun, but I do podcasting for fun. And if I can make this a full-time job, I would love to.
Dude, hopefully I help you out a little bit.
No, you do. So, but anyway, so I wanted to ask you about recovery stuff too, as
Mhm.
well, because I don't think we've talked about that in the last show.
Okay.
So what do you do for like recovery purposes? Do you like an ice bath? Like what's the kind of protocols for you that kind of help you keep your body in like in good shape?
I've been adding little things here and there. I started doing a cold shower in the morning, and then kind of the hot shower at night. So like the contrast kind of puts me to sleep a little better. Um, and then just the mobility stuff, scraping and flossing and foam rolling stuff like that at home. But I don't have any like crazy protocols because I don't really have access to like you know these high grade machines of like cryotherapy or red light or I mean I have used them before and I've had friends invite me over to their facility and do that type of stuff, but um I don't really know the benefits. I haven't really done that stuff long term, so if I did have stuff like that, like LeBron does, spending $1 million on his body every year, I think that'd be pretty sweet. But
Yeah.
right now, not that much.
Yeah. So speaking of LeBron, have you seen the picture of him with his shoes off?
Oh yeah, I have. Yeah,
With that like little
yeah,
pinky toe, like pretty much
yeah.
is like on top. Oh, it's so gross.
Yeah, that's where they wear insoles on their shoes. So his PT guy probably took like a mask of his foot and like made the insole so he doesn't feel it like when he walks on in his basketball shoes. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't get it either.
Yeah. Have you tried those like toe spacers before?
No, no, I've seen them before, but I haven't tried them. Are they good?
I've used them a little bit, and it's just like supposed to like spread your feet out a little bit. But the problem
Mm.
is like I wear Nikes, and so they kind of
Mhm.
like I wear the Metcons, so they kind of keep your feet in a little bit
Yeah, yeah,
compared to
narrow.
that. And so like it's great spreading out, but I could only have them on for like not that long at all. Like probably like
Mhm.
5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I wear pretty wide toe shoes because I have like some wide feet, weird looking feet.
Yeah,
Uh, they're like small and wide, so I have to wear. For the longest time, my favorite shoes were like the Nanos, the originals,
yeah.
uh, like Nano twos, Nano eights, stuff like that. The ones that are pretty simple and they have a wide toe box.
So do you wear tiers? Because I know you wore tier
Yeah,
a couple of years
those are
ago.
nice too. Yeah, they have a wider toe box as well.
Yeah. So do you have their lifting shoes too? The lifters?
I do. Yeah, I don't really like the wider toe box for that specific purpose.
Okay.
But it's not a knock on them. It's just like just for with my foot. I think every athlete and every foot is different, like the type of shoe and stuff. And if you have a good sponsor, they'll kind of mold whatever shoes they give you around your foot. If that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. So do you think with the lifters that like their lifters, do you think it kind of keeps your feet moving around all over the
Yeah,
place? And that, yeah.
exactly. Yep.
Okay.
I like it to be more scrunched in, like the Metcon or um, the lifters. I think even more wider than their actual base training shoe. Just the tier shoe, which is
Yeah.
weird in my opinion. But
Yeah. Yeah. I actually bought a new pair of lifters. I think it was like 4 or 5 months ago, I think.
mhm.
And I got their Nike I can't pronounce it. The Romalos, whatever they are, like the four. Yeah,
Romaellos.
Romaellos. Yeah, for the four. I think the fours. I think.
Uh-huh.
And I had the threes before that, and so they had with the threes they had that big thick Velcro like in
Mhm.
the middle, and it kept my feet like so secure. And then I have
Mhm.
the fours, and
Mhm.
now there's like two straps, like one on the bottom and one on the top. And so when I do clean and jerks, it
Mhm.
just feels like my back of my heels like ready to fall out on those
Interesting. But
lifters. So
I would need to see a picture. I'm not really sure, but like two straps on the front or the back of the
no,
shoe.
no, 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 no. So there's one strap on the top where the tongue is, and then
Yeah,
there's another strap on the bottom of like where
where your foot
like the
is,
base of the yeah where the
where your
toes
ball.
are.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of like the Reebok one.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like so weird. It feels like my feet are gonna fall out every single time.
Interesting. Well, maybe the tier ones would work for you then, I guess. Have you worn those?
No, I haven't. I've pretty much stuck with Nike the whole time.
Mm. Yeah, they're pretty good too.
Yeah, maybe if anybody has a size 12, I'm available. So,
Dude, I'm a size 9, bro. I have small feet.
well, I mean, I'm taller than you too, so I'm like six
Yeah, I
six.
guess that helps. Yeah.
So,
Dude, yeah, dude, I actually wore 8.5s. I asked uh, all the noble people at the games for 8.5s, and they just like kill my feet now. Like I don't know why I asked for such a low size, but
did,
yeah, nine
did
is
you
good
like
stuff.
did you like the Nobles at all?
Did I like them? I think I would have probably liked them more if I had gotten the right size, but I don't
True.
really. I like the runners. Yeah, they're kind of nice, and honestly, they know what they're doing. All the shoe companies know what they're doing. So if you ever want to sponsor me, any shoe company is welcome. Sponsor me.
Yeah, I had a pair of Nobles on. I bought a pair of Nobles for like trainers, and
Yeah.
like they were great the first workout, but then after that, it was just like so uncomfortable that I was like literally made of my professional lawn shoes now. So if I
Mhm.
need mowing the lawn or doing yard work, like I'm putting those bad boys on.
I did actually do the construction work in Nobles. Now that you mention it, yeah, I did all the construction stuff in Georgia. and they went from like being nice and pristine to just dusty. But they
Trash.
held up. They have the whatever material they use is like Kevlar, I think,
Yep.
and it held up way better than another shoe would.
Yeah, I remember, speaking of Kevlar, I remember Reebok actually made a shoe with
Yeah,
Kevlar on it, and I actually,
the 6 no Nano 6. Yeah, Nano 6. Yep.
yeah, I bought a pair and I was wearing those for my hospital shoes, and like I was like, is this a smart idea? Because I'm like literally on my feet the whole time. So, and I literally have like Kevlar like right in the middle of the sole.
Yeah, yeah, nice.
So, anyways, so what are you wearing for lifters now?
I don't really wear lifters, to be honest, that much, but if I would, I would probably wear the Reebok ones that I got a while ago.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I don't wear them that often, so they're still in pretty good condition.
Yeah. Why, you just feel like kind of off when you lift at all, or?
I think for our sport, like it requires you to kind of lift in any sort of shoe, so you got to get comfortable lifting in any nano or tier or whatever base training shoe, and I think even for like the snatch ladder coming up, for example, at semis, like I'd want more of a less of a kind of constricted lifter than a base shoe, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. 'Cause I've always heard, like, especially with lifters, like you say, like you need to not wear lifters like all the time because you're gonna get
Mm.
used to them, and like even then if you do like a snatch with like in a run or whatever, like another workout, it's gonna
Mhm.
affect your lift because you're so used to with that high heel.
Yeah, that could be the case too. I could see that.
Yeah. So we're getting close to the end, so I got those rapid fire questions again. So
Sweet. Yep.
do you remember any of them?
I think last time you asked me like what books or whatever. That's all.
Yeah. So, first one is, what are your goals for the rest of the year? It could be personal, like business, like college, like whatever. Like, what are the goals that you have that you want to hit by the end of the year?
Dude, just win as many events and do as well as all the competitions in the rest of the year, and make to the games and stamp my my place and the in that field this year.
Nice.
And as far as school goes, finish up this math class, no funky business, and just pass it. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. When's the math test?
The finals right after semifinals.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
it's okay. It's probably a good timing actually, because then I could just and the days after I can just study. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that works.
yeah.
So I don't know if I asked you this one. So what's something that nobody really knows about that you really like to do?
I don't know, man. What do I like to do? I mean, dude, I just have the most boring life. I just do walk at school and do training, man. I don't know. I guess I like to hike. They have some good mountains here. Really nice views here in Washington.
Yeah.
And I've played last summer I played pickleball. I guess that's a thing.
Oh, how do you like that?
It's fun. I mean, it's not as tiring as like tennis or anything. So it's just sit in a spot and play.
Yeah,
and I enjoyed it a lot.
nice. So you need to follow this guy. He's a CrossFit and pickleball like meme guy, and
Oh,
so
really?
his name's Evan Slaughter. I actually interviewed him
Like
on my podcast.
SLOOTT
Uh,
or
I'll
SLA
SLAUGHTER.
AGHT. Gotcha.
Yeah, he's like a heavy set guy, and he's hilarious. And so
Is he that guy that what's it called?
he's got a mustache.
Yeah, I've seen him before. He was like in some RX Smart Gear videos.
Yep.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see the one where he was with this other dude, and the other guy had a Speedo and he's like all tatted up, and they were doing like these they were
No, I don't think so. I saw the one where he was like doing a bunch of jump rope stuff, and I was, what is this? I just like scrolled. I was like, what are you doing, bro?
yeah,
Shout out to RX Smart Gear.
yes, and he does pickleball stuff too, and it's pretty good. Like he's all about pickleball. That's
Yeah,
his jam. So
yeah.
so are you gonna start doing that like more often too as well, just to kind of like do
Dude,
something?
I mean, if I find people to play with, because like I don't know, I wish I had somebody to play with on a regular basis. I had a friend that I played with last summer. Actually, in Georgia, all the guys that were in construction were playing it, so we all like took turns and played together. But yeah, if I find a
You got to find a league,
group,
man.
I gotta find a group. Yeah, you're right.
Facebook group. Always go to Facebook.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I'll figure it out. If I hop in one day and talk to some people on the course, then maybe I can join their group.
Yeah. Yeah, or you can just look at the college like board to see if there's like a pickleball like team or whatever.
They have, I guess they have pickleball courts here. I'm actually in the parking lot where the stadium is right now, but I don't know who goes and who uses it. And you also have to pay a fee,
Oh, forget
which is
that.
weird. Like I pay the tuition for college, and they make you pay like a $200 fee per quarter to use the gym. Like these, man, these like public colleges have gotten like super. Uh,
Oh, I know. I know.
yeah,
I know. I know. So when you this is not part of the rapid fire questions, but like when you walk around college and stuff like that, do you kind of like stick out compared to everyone else at all, or are you just like,
I hope not. I don't know. I don't think about it that way. But no, I mean, there's a whole bunch of different people. It's like it's public, so like anybody. There's athletes, there's engineering students, there's. I guess in my engineering class, on the other hand, yes, I probably do. I don't think that you would see as many like athletically inclined individuals. Uh, yeah, but it is
does
what
it
it is.
does anybody in your class ask you like what you do, or like,
No, no, they're just on their phones. They're busy with their own stuff.
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So next question. So what book are you reading now? You said you finished
Yeah.
all three Dune books. So like what are
Well,
you on
there's
to now?
6 Dune books, so I
Oh,
haven't
geez.
finished that quite yet. And yeah, they get really weird, and I don't know if I will finish it because I just didn't understand some of it. But right now I'm reading Shogun. There's actually a series on Hulu that is exactly that. The book, it's the story of the book, and yeah, I'm reading it right now. It's pretty cool.
Okay. You don't read any self-help books at all, do you?
Self-help, yeah, I have plenty of them. Um, I can't really think of one right now. Shoot, there was one with a baseball guy that I have. If I saw it, I would tell you. But
Yeah, you're good. You're good. Yeah, because like when we were talking, you talk about like Dune or like other books that you've read that are
yeah,
like not like self-help. So
it's hard to
uh,
get through self-help books, dude. It's just like it's pretty dense, and,
yeah.
and you want to digest the information and like put it in practice. But the easier stuff like the narratives and the novels, I can read those and kind of relax a little bit.
Yeah. You know it's a good cheat code for the self-help books?
Huh? What's it?
You go on Chat GPT and say, I want a
Summary.
yeah, a summary or just like in detail, like tell me what like I read this, I wanted to read this book called The Energy Bus. And
Mm,
so it's like a really short one. So I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna have time to do this. And
mm,
so I was like, I went on Chat GPT and I'm like, all right, give me the cliff notes of The Energy Bus by this person. And give me a good detail, like make sure it's like detailed too as well. And so it gets all in detail of like what each chapter is and stuff like
mm.
that. And so you can learn from that. And then if you kind of want to learn more about that chapter, you just type in and say, all right, give me more information on this on X chapter, and it'll just go even further in detail for it. So
Dude, yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Like, I kind of like the examples though that they have in the books more than the actual kind of cliff notes. Like, I feel like that's a better way to relate with it when they kind of apply it in real life. So, I
yeah.
I would. I don't know about this whole AI thing. Like, I feel like people make it seem like it'll make everyone's life easier, but I feel like it's just a fast track to insanity, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy. Like all AI stuff now is like people are like using using like Mr. Beast or something like that, using his words, and he's not even talking, and he's like saying
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
hey,
The
I'm gonna give
memes
you a
with like
10.
Trump and Biden talking to each other on like
Yeah,
FaceTime
exactly.
or whatever.
Yeah. Stuff like that. It's crazy, like that stuff that's coming out now.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. Next question. So, um, I know are you sponsored by RX Smart Gear at all, or?
I mean, pretty much like Dave's a really good friend of mine and he's helped me with a
Okay.
lot of stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So, if there's any sponsors that want to sponsor you, like what are the kind of sponsors that you're looking for?
Oh, that's a good question. Any sponsors? uh I don't know, man. I think that there's a whole game within a game and that stuff, and I'm not really well versed in that. I just like to compete in fitness for fun, and I probably should be and I will be learning that stuff more as my career progresses, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see with that stuff. I have an agent, and he's trying to help me out, and but it all hinges on like performance at the end of the day. Like you got to get to a place where you're comfortable in your own skin and on the competition floor.
Yep.
No performance anxiety, no more things that like last year where I just kind of take it for granted and uh, do that type of stuff. So that comes first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would want that first too. So,
Yeah. I mean,
um,
that's my philosophy always. So
yeah. So, the deep question that we have. So, I don't know if you changed it at all, but like, let's just say it's your last day on Earth, and you're like all
mm.
your friends are around you. How do you want people to know you as?
uh, I would say I would want to be known as um like a humble, gritty, faithful, and compassionate guy. Like just overall, kind of uh, being able to go through obstacles and regardless of the outcome and have faith. Like continue to have strong faith as a Christian man and uh, yeah, that's all I want to be seen as. Nothing too big. I don't care for anybody writing my name in the history books. I think the only name that should be written down is the name of Christ. So yeah, that's basically what I want to be remembered as.
Okay, because I remember last time you said you wanted to be a fighter, so
Uh,
that was
Probably
one of them.
generic. Yeah, I was probably nervous or something.
No, it's okay. Listen, this podcast has been like awesome. So the second time around, you're actually you're actually getting used to it. So
Dude, maybe I should do it more often.
you should, man. You should
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, dude, you're comfortable. So,
thanks, man.
and I
Appreciate
can give you tips on it too. We can just go dry run.
it. Dude,
I
yeah,
just
just tell me if I'm saying like or whatever too
dude,
much.
I am so bad at that. I am
People say
so
like, and everybody in the comments are lighting you up like, oh, your favorite word is like. Oh, his favorite word is
yeah.
I don't know, or he's talking trash about this person.
Yeah,
But
I don't really want to listen to myself on the edits and stuff. And so it's just I really try to focus on, try not to say like or
dude, I
anything
mean,
like
you're
that.
a professional. I mean, coming from the recruiting, you probably have to be very concise and making sure everybody knows where your head's at. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
well, it's
great
funny
question.
because like sometimes I really have to be on the fly when they ask me questions or like I have to like veer.
Exactly.
Even with podcasting, I have to veer off to like something that's not even on my list. So it's just
Yeah,
something different. So
that's a good domain to come from for sure.
yeah, definitely. Last question. So where can people reach out to you if they have any questions about like, maybe having you as like a
Mhm.
sponsored athlete, any questions on like
Um,
your camps or whatnot, or
I would say I work closely with Ripple Sports right now for my agency. So if you were to talk to Bijan and have any questions about that, that would be amazing.
yeah.
And then as far as like athletes, coaches, whatever on Instagram would be the easiest for me to find people. I'm not on it a lot, so hopefully nothing gets lost in the shuffle. But yeah, that sort of stuff.
All right. All right. And so what made you decide to get an agent?
I just I think like I said, I'm not very well versed in the whole sponsorship gig and talking to companies. I don't know what they're looking for as much. I don't know the fine print as much, and I feel like I want to have someone I can trust in my corner to work on that stuff. And right now, I'm learning a lot from this agency that I'm with currently, and they're kind of helping me in the start of my career. And kind of guiding me, and hopefully with my performance we can start to make progress in that direction, because to be a professional athlete, I guess.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, man, thank you for coming on the show. I really do appreciate it, and especially literally doing this whole podcast in your car. So hopefully you're pretty comfortable.
Dude,
So
I need some air.
well, I'd love to have you on after semifinals and see how everything went, and kind of,
Yeah.
get your 2 cents on like the workouts, like Carson and all that stuff.
Dude, yeah, absolutely, man, for sure.
Awesome. All right, I'll talk to you later.
All right, Tom, have a good one.